the US itself appealed to us for a number of reasons. We've been to the US a lot. We have some family there, and we also have the opportunity in the US to be able to work under the EB5 program. So it was appealing on a number of different fronts, from employment to sort of family setup and overall quality of life.
Did you look at other paths to come to the US, or did
Yeah,
it's on EB5 to start with?
Yeah, so we did look at a few other potentials as well, in terms of the flexibility that the EB5 visa gives you. It is far superior, allows you to work as well as to to live in the country. It covers your whole family. It's unconditional after the 2 years. So in our opinion, it was the best option for us to give us the most flexibility.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, interviewing, researching, and ultimately, working with an EB5 attorney on your application?
Absolutely. So I think the EB5 attorney is a critical part of the whole process, and you need to feel very comfortable that the attorney that you picked has a good track record, has experience in this field, and ideally specializes in this field. So we use those criteria to choose a lawyer, an attorney, and they act as not only somebody to help you with the application, but also just a guide throughout the whole process. So I would say it's very important to choose an attorney that comes recommended, that has experience, that asks for a reasonable structure regarding fees, and is very, very comfortable with applications from your country of birth.
And I know you talked with a number of other teams, with other projects. Like, how did that experience with us kind of contrast with a lot of the other teams that you spoke with? Was it similar?
So
different,
I'd say
medium? What?
Yeah, I'd say it was. So I'd say the main difference was the other regional centres. They were large, sprawling companies with really no point of ownership that you could contact, and I felt like a lot of the time we were speaking to salespeople, as opposed to principals of the regional centres. Personally, if I'm investing that amount of money, I want to speak to the person that's in charge, and I don't want to speak to a salesperson. I felt almost every single other regional centre we were speaking to salespeople who were generally incentivized differently to the actual principals of the regional centres. So for us, that was a critical difference, that throughout the process I was speaking to a partner of the regional centre as opposed to a person that was employed by the regional centre. So that was the biggest difference, and that made a great deal of difference at the point that we were choosing who to go with. In my opinion, one should choose a project that you can trust the person that you're speaking to at the regional centre. They should be a principal or a partner in that regional centre. They should not, in my opinion, be a salesperson. They should be somebody with a stake in the reputation of the regional centre, as opposed to somebody who can flip between different things. So for us, it was absolutely integral that we found somebody that we were able to trust, that we felt in safe hands with, that had a very good track record and understood the significance of the sums of money that were being invested to the individual investor. And so when we spoke to Sam, you from EB5AN, we certainly received all of those things. And with your track record and your background, we felt that you had the right credentials to be handling this sort of this sort of project. There are vast amounts of money involved in each project, and you need somebody who's one of high integrity, and B, one who understands the financial element of some of the instruments that are actually being agreed. So we felt with the EB5 affiliate network, we had people that we could trust, but also actually understood the products and understood the risks that were being taken, and were honest and straightforward with the things that they were saying.
Yep. In terms of kind of the decision of rural, a project in a rural area with the faster processing and the visa set aside versus the non-rural projects. And I know we talked about some of our urban projects as well during our conversation. Mm-hmm. What kind of made you decide to go with a rural project versus an urban project, even though you were not from China or India?
Yeah, so the rural projects do benefit from some priority processing, which was a consideration, but also the actual projects in their own merit. Some of the urban projects came with risks that we felt uncomfortable with. They were, for example, previously bankrupted projects, or they were projects that didn't really seem to us like they had sound business viability. So for us, the idea of investing in a project that was rural came with benefits, but it was actually this project specifically, you could see in terms of the capital stack, the retained profits within the business, their track record delivering this type of project, that we felt very comfortable with. So it was a combination of the fact that it was rural, but also the project in its own right, and the way that the project had been sort of fairly successful to date, with a very successful project owner or manager in Colta, with an excellent track record and a guarantee from the holding parent company, made us feel very comfortable, or as comfortable as we could be, given the sort of situation that we were in, because the alternate projects were, as I said, came with various issues in terms of what I felt was business viability, or in terms of previous sort of track records on that site, or that, even more specifically, that exact project